Supplying a prohibited drug is an offence under Section 25 of the Drug Misuse and Trafficking Act 1985. That section broadly defines drug supply as supplying or knowingly taking part in the supply of a prohibited drug. And examples of a prohibited drug are contained in the schedule to the Act. They include MDMA or ecstasy, amphetamines such as speed, cannabis, heroin, cocaine, drugs that are illegal under the Acts. Now, the definition of supply includes selling, distributing, or agreeing to supply, keeping or having in possession for supply, sending or forwarding, developing or receiving for supply, or causing, suffering, permitting, or attempting any of those acts. Examples of drug supply include giving drugs to friends for free, several people buying drugs from pooled money, selling them and splitting the proceeds, sending drugs in the mail or personally delivering them to someone's home, possessing drugs for the purpose of later supply. It includes even selling fake drugs. So for example, if I were to sell someone what I said was a gram of cocaine and it was actually bicarbonate of soda and I knew it was bicarbonate of soda, I'd be guilty of drug supply. There's also something called deemed supply. That is where a person possesses more than the trafficable quantity of drugs. If a person does, they can be charged with supply just for having that amount of drugs, and then it's up to them to prove on the balance of probabilities, i.e. more than 50%, that the drugs were possessed for something other than supply, for example, for personal use. And the trafficable quantity of drugs are, for example, 0.75 grams of MDMA, which is also called ecstasy, or 3 grams of cocaine, heroin, amphetamines. Examples that may not amount to drug supply include giving someone else drugs to hold for you and then give back to you, holding drugs for someone else and giving it back to them shortly thereafter, or getting someone else to buy drugs for you. The maximum penalties for drug supply depend on the type of drug, the amount of the drug, and whether the case stays in the local court. If it stays in the local court, the maximum penalty is 2 years imprisonment. In terms of the type of penalties, there are a range of penalties that are available to the magistrate. If you are found guilty or you plead guilty of drug supply, they include Section 10, which means no conviction, fines, bonds, community service orders, intensive correction orders, home detention, and the last resort when it comes to sentencing you would be imprisonment. However, all other possibilities must be explored before you can be sentenced to imprisonment. If you're charged with drug supply, you should see an experienced lawyer who has a good track record in drug cases. Have a look on their website at the past cases that they've done, do a bit of research about them, and pick the right lawyer, as it can make a huge difference to the end results.